guys, it's Emma and I'm back today for you with another video, and today I'm doing another installation of my if you like this anime then read these books series, you know? So today, as you can tell from the title above, I am recommending books to fans of Inuyasha. Inuyasha is my favorite anime of all time. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I constantly think about this anime. I rewatch it like at least once a month. I've read quite a few books that have reminded me of Inuyasha in one aspect or another, okay? So these are the books that I'm gonna be recommending to y'all if you like Inuyasha. So before we start, I would really appreciate it if you guys would look down in the description box for all the links there that I have for you guys pertaining to stuff going on in the world right now. For example, what's going on in Gaza, what's going on in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, what's going on in Myanmar, what's going on in Sudan, amongst other crises, okay? So all of those links will be down there for you guys to look at, to interact with, and to share. And then down in the comment section, let me know whether or not you guys like Inuyasha, whether, you know, you don't like it, what you do, what you don't like about it, whether you think my recommendations are good, your own recommendations, you know, everything of the sort, right? So with that being said, let's just get right on into it. So the first book that I want to recommend to fans of Inuyasha is my favorite series, Shadow the Fox by Julie Kagawa. This is about Yumeko, who's a kitsune, and she lives at this monastery that has been tasked with the protection of this piece of a sacred scroll. And this sacred scroll has the ability, if all put together, to be made a wish upon, and basically this dragon will come down and grant the wish. And obviously it can be good, but it obviously can also be bad because we have some nefarious ass people coming after this scroll, okay? And so when the monastery is burnt to the ground, Yumeko has to take this piece and keep it safe. And along her way, she finds this boy named Tatsumi who is secretly working to get a scroll piece for his daimyo. He doesn't know that she has the scroll piece. She doesn't know that he's looking for a scroll piece, but they team up in order to keep one another safe, and it's just about their adventure and whom they meet along the way. I want to recommend this to fans of Inuyasha because of its episodic nature, alright? Each chapter feels like you're watching an episode of an anime. And also, what I really love about this series is the friend group trope that comes along in this, okay? The friend group in Inuyasha is one of the most iconic of all time, alright? Argue with the floor. I don't care. And I dare say that the friend group in Shadow the Fox is just as, if not more iconic, okay? Because these characters I just hold so close to my heart because all of them remind me so much of each character in said friend group of Inuyasha. The friendships in here, the relationships that they build, and the monsters that they fight are so reminiscent of everything that happens in the show. I just love these supernatural monsters in here, the fact that they all have to fight with and against one another at one point. This book is funny, okay? The characters are all so lovable, and I just love this series so much. And I need more people to read it, like ASAP, like right now. I'm currently writing this into law. Read this or go to jail. The next book that I would like to recommend to fans of Inuyasha is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. This is about the titular Daughter of the Moon Goddess, whose existence has essentially been kept secret from the rest of the empire, and her mother has been exiled onto the moon. But when the daughter's existence is found out, she flees the moon and she hides out down in the celestial kingdom, and she tries to come up with a way to free her mother from her exile. And the way that she comes up with is to enter into this contest to become the student that will study side by side with the celestial prince. And this student that studies with the prince will get a favor from the emperor, and that, she thinks, is her mother's meal ticket off of the moon. So I want to recommend this book to fans of Inuyasha also because it's pretty damn episodic, okay? It's just like Shadow the Fox, where almost every chapter is read like an episode of an anime. I want to recommend this book because of the friend trope too, alright? It's not, I'm gonna be honest here, it's not as iconic as, but there is the love triangle that's more prominent in here, alright? Look, I love me a good love triangle, okay? I'm not gonna lie. I like the tea, I like the mess, and I really do just love the angst, all right? And the angst of the love triangle in here is pretty palpable, okay? So I would say if you're a fan of the love triangle between Inuyasha, Kagome, and Koga, I think you'll like the love triangle in here. Also, Shingen is an archer as well, and Kagome's an archer, and they both do pretty well at archery. And the monsters that they fight in here are really interesting, and there's even dragons in here. So I would say if you're a fan of the friend group trope, read Daughter of the Moon Goddess. If you're a fan of the love triangle in Inuyasha, read Daughter of the Moon Goddess. And if you're a fan of Shadow the Fox, read Daughter of the Moon Goddess. The next book that I would like to recommend to fans of Inuyasha is Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. This is about Nena and Nestor, who when they were children were attached to the hip, but then they were attacked when they were kids, and Nestor thinks that Nena is dead and he flees the ranch where he and his father work at out of fear, and he stays away for like a decade or something. Meanwhile, all of this has happened and the Mexican-American War is brewing, and so tensions are going there, and so all of the Mexican rancheros are trying to build up men in order to go and fight with the cavalry, and Nena is still alive. So she wants to be a healer and go with her father and the men in order to, you know, help with the battle. And then Nestor comes back to conscript, and he and Nena see one another, and Nestor's like, dude, I thought you were dead. And Nena's like, dude, I thought you left me. So it's basically, you know, about them trying to survive this war and their romance. Meanwhile, all of this is happening. There's been strange attacks of people with, 2 puncture wounds on the side of their necks. I want to recommend this book for a myriad of reasons to fans of Inuyasha, but one of them is because that Nena and Nestor at some point in the book have to fight as a pair in order to get back home. And that's what Inuyasha and Kagome do pretty much throughout the entire series, alright? Especially when it's just Inuyasha and Kagome and it's just them and they have to fight through, you know, demons, monsters, bad humans, in order to get from one place to another. And Nena and Nestor have to do the same thing, all right? Maybe not demons, but I mean, the title's pretty self-explanatory. Another reason why I want to recommend this to Inuyasha fans is because of the romance in here. This is a historical romance with a dash of horror. That's truthfully what it is, okay? The romance is more centered than the horror is. Nestor's and Nena's bickering with one another at times honestly reminded me a lot of Inuyasha's and Kagome's bickering, to the point where, you know, it did get a little old, and it's like, okay, no, y'all gotta stop dancing around one another. All right, we've had this conversation like 10 different times in 10 different ways. We gotta do something different, okay? If you are a fan of, I guess, flawed people and people that have made mistakes, especially with one another, trying to reconcile those mistakes, all while a war and monstrous things are going on, this is definitely the book for you, okay? I highly recommend this to Inuyasha fans because of the dynamic between Nestor and Nena and the types of things that their relationship goes through in terms of monstrosities. The next book that I would like to recommend to fans of Inuyasha is Twisted Games by Anna Huang. This is the second book in the Twisted series. You don't have to read them in order to, you know, get what they're trying to give, you know, but this follows Bridget and Reese. And Bridget now is in line to become heir to the throne because her brother has abdicated, and Reese is her bodyguard, and it's all about their romance. I want to recommend this, one, in part because it's a bodyguard romance, okay? I love me some bodyguard romance. I've made that pretty much a part of my brand. Okay, there's been one bodyguard romance that I have hated, or that I have just not liked in general, and that was A Dark Day on This Earth. All right, let me tell you that. But Reese protects Bridget, and Inuyasha protects Kagome. Okay, I love a bodyguard dynamic. I think there's just an added layer of desperation and affection. I just love it. Both Inuyasha and Reese protect Kagome and Bridget respectively, whilst Kagome and Bridget come into like their birthright. Kagome comes into her birthright via Kikyo, right? And then Bridget comes into her birthright through the throne via her brother's abdication. Bridget is, I think, my favorite female main character out of the entire Twisted series, and it would make sense because Kagome is one of my favorite female main characters out of any anime. The next book that I want to recommend is Hellboy by Mignola and John Byrne. Okay, this is about Hellboy, who is the son of the devil, and everybody wants to use him to essentially unlock some H.P. Lovecraftian evil up in space. Meanwhile, Hellboy just wants to do good. Hellboy just wants everybody to leave him alone. Honestly, I want to recommend this to people who like Inuyasha because Inuyasha and company go around investigating paranormal stuff, supernatural stuff in order to figure out, okay, you know, is there a jewel shard here? Does this dude have a jewel shard? Where's the next jewel shard? You know what I mean? And then Hellboy is basically a part of this FBI organization that goes after supernatural stuff to protect the populace. So think Men in Black, but not aliens specifically, you know? I like it because Hellboy and Inuyasha kind of go back and forth in their characterizations because Hellboy just wants to be a good person. He doesn't want to be son of the devil. He just wants to be a good person. So he is trying to subvert everybody's thinking of him. Meanwhile, Inuyasha, at the start of the anime, wants to be a better demon because he's a half demon. He wants the Shikon Jewel to become a whole demon. And he's essentially sick and tired of trying to subvert people's feelings about him. So he's like, well, shit, people think I'm a demon, so why don't I just become a demon type thing, you know what I mean? And it's kind of funny because Inuyasha, throughout the whole series, you see him being a good person. I really think that this is a good book for fans of Inuyasha to read. One, because it's a comic, all right, and the art style is beautiful, okay? And also because it gives that really cool characterization parallel, I don't know if that word means what I think it means, but it does today, of Inuyasha's character with Hellboy's. And also, we're just going around kicking monsters' asses. You know what I mean? The next book that I want to recommend to fans of Inuyasha is The Adventures of Amina AlSarrafi by Shannon Chakraborty. This is about Amina AlSarrafi, who is a retired infamous pirate who just wants to take care of her daughter and her mother. Until an old lady comes up to her and basically hires her with a little side of blackmail to rescue this old lady's granddaughter that's been kidnapped by a sorcerer trying to invoke a whole bunch of sorcery shit, you know? And so Amina takes the money and takes the woman's job, and she goes out to essentially recruit her former crew and go after and find this girl. I want to recommend this to fans of Inuyasha for a multitude of reasons, okay? One of them, because this is funny as shit. All right, this book is so funny. All right, some of the dialogue had me cracking up, and nothing can make me laugh like Inuyasha can make me laugh, okay? Just the way that it's animated, the bickering between Inuyasha and co is hilarious to me. It's comedy gold. Also, there's just a really great crew of friends, okay? Like, her former crewmates are awesome. All right, there's one woman in here that deals with poisons and gunpowder. There's a demon that she, like, married by accident. There's just such a good crew of friends in here that remind me so much of the dynamic of Inuyasha and co. Another reason why I want to recommend this to fans of Inuyasha is because of the mythological monsters and supernatural beings in this book, okay? Along with all the spells and the magic. The setting in this book is so rich and vivid and vibrant, and it's just so amazing, all right? So I would say that if you are a fan of the adventure aspect of Inuyasha, Amina AlSarrafi is gonna be right up your alley, girl. And then the last book that I would like to recommend to fans of Inuyasha is Red Wolf by Rachel Vincent. Okay, this is about Adele, and she's a 16-year-old girl in this village that is being overtaken by this really malignant forest filled with monsters, vines that will snatch you up by your ankle, essentially a forest that you as a human don't want to traipse into, you know what I mean? And Adele on her 16th birthday finds out that she is a guardian amongst all of the female descendants and ancestors in her family tree. And they can turn into werewolves, and they essentially go into the forest and hunt the monsters and take the brunt off of the force coming to essentially immobilize the town. Basically think of it as the Guardians taking 75% of the damage, meanwhile the humans taking the 25% that they can handle. I want to recommend this to people who like Inuyasha because one of the monsters in here, all right, we see werewolves, we see trolls, we see goblins, we see changelings, we see them all, okay? I really, really loved the lore of this book. I thought that was one of its strong points, and also because in Inuyasha we see time and time again that even though people need Inuyasha's help, they still don't like him because he's a demon. Like, as soon as he's saved everybody's asses, they're like, okay, cool, thank you so much for saving us, can you get out now? Before we pitchfork you too, you know? And that's pretty much what Adele and her family have to deal with. Salem Witch Trials vibe, if you get what I mean. So they can't let anybody know that they're werewolves, or else Adele, her younger sister, her mom, and her grandma are all gonna be burned for witches, you know what I mean? So it's a very thankless job. And I think that aspect pairs very well with the thankless job that Inuyasha has to deal with a lot. I really recommend this to fans of Inuyasha for the mythological aspects in here, and also because of the responsibilities that Adele has to go through, and, you know, that's kind of mirrored with how Inuyasha's crew looks at not only their journey to get the Shikon jewel shards, but their kind of side quests to save people's lives along the way. So you guys, those were all of the books that I would recommend to fans of Inuyasha. I hope that you've enjoyed. I hope that you will take some of these recommendations, okay, because I love Inuyasha. I take great care in what I recommend by it, by what I think would emulate it, by what I think other people would like about it, okay? I find great joy in finding things that reminded me of Inuyasha. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed. I hope that you will continue to look out for more stuff on my channel. I hope that you guys are staying safe. And lastly, I hope that you guys have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.